If you've been jolted awake at 2 a.m. by your child screaming in pain, clutching their ears, and if you've sat in a pediatrician's office for the 5th time this year, watching them write another prescription for antibiotics that you know deep down aren't actually solving anything, and if you've told that they're going to grow out of ear infections or that ear tubes are the only option left, I need you to understand something. You're not alone here, and more importantly, there's a reason that this keeps happening that nobody's talking about. I'm Dr. John Caruso, and in the next few minutes, I'm going to explain why nearly 80% of children experience multiple ear infections by age 3, why the medical system and the approach keeps failing these kids, and what you can actually do about it to address the root cause, not just the symptoms. Here's what's really happening, and it's not what most pediatricians will tell you. The standard narrative goes like this. Your child's eustachian tubes, they're too horizontal, they're too narrow, fluid gets trapped, bacteria grows, the infection happens. But here's amoxicillin. But that explanation is incomplete, because if anatomy alone was the problem, then every single child would have chronic ear infections. But they don't. I've worked with hundreds of families over my career, and the families who receive regular, neurologically focused chiropractic care and live toxin-conscious households, they report 0 ear infections. Not fewer, 0. So what creates that massive discrepancy between children? It's not genetics, it's not bad luck, and it's not just anatomy. It's nervous system function. So let me explain how this actually works, because once you understand it, everything clicks. Your child's eustachian tubes, those little passageways that connect the middle ear to the back of the throat, they're designed to drain fluid. That's their job. When they're working properly, fluid doesn't pool, bacteria doesn't set up camp, and infections don't happen. But here's the critical piece that most doctors miss. The muscles surrounding those eustachian tubes, they're controlled by the brain and the nervous system, specifically by the vagus nerve and the parasympathetic nervous system. That's the part of your child's nervous system responsible for rest, digestion, healing, and drainage. Now, when a child experiences what we call the perfect storm, which might include things like a difficult or an intervened birth, like forceps, vacuums, and C-sections, or early physical stress or falls, exposure to toxins and environmental stressors, or the overuse of antibiotics that disrupt gut health, this creates something called subluxation. And it's a misalignment, a fixation, and the nervous system impact within the upper neck or the upper spine that interferes with nervous system communication and elimination. But here's what happens next. First, the nervous system shifts into sympathetic dominance. That's fight or flight mode. Your child's body thinks it's under constant threat. Next, the parasympathetic system, that rest and digest system, it shuts down and gets suppressed. But remember, that parasympathetic system is what controls the muscle tone or the function around those eustachian tubes. And the third stage is that the muscles can't relax. The tubes can't drain properly, and then fluid pools, and then infections move in. Think about it like this. It's like trying to drain a bathtub, but someone's standing on the drain plug. The plumbing's not broken. The drainage is just being blocked by tension and dysfunction. That's subluxation. That's dysautonomia. And that's why antibiotics alone will never solve this chronic ear infection crisis. But let me tell you about a little kiddo named Lucas. Lucas came to our office at 18 months old, and in just 4 months, he had suffered through 5 ear infections, 5 rounds of antibiotics. His pediatrician was recommending tubes, which is the surgical intervention for a baby, not even a 2-year-old. And his mom didn't want to go that route if she could avoid it. She wanted to understand why this kept happening. So we did something different. We didn't just look into his ears, we looked at his nervous system. We ran the insight scans, which is the technology that measures nervous system function objectively. And what we found was exactly what we expected. Lucas's nervous system was stuck in high stress mode. His scan showed high sympathetic dominance as well as parasympathetic exhaustion. His body couldn't shift into that calm, healing, draining state that it needed to clear the fluid from his ears. And we started neurologically focused chiropractic care. Gentle, specific adjustments designed to remove stress and subluxation from the upper neck and restore proper nervous system balance and to allow his body to do as it was designed to do. And then 4 months later, not a single ear infection. Not one. And here's what his mom said. And I love this because it captures everything. It feels like playtime for Lucas, not a medical treatment. We are so thankful. We look forward to many more visits to keep our little guy healthy and off of antibiotics. That's the difference. That's what happens when you address the root cause instead of just managing symptoms. Now, I want to be clear about something. I'm not anti-pediatrician and I'm not anti-medicine, but I am anti-incomplete solutions. The Journal of Pediatric Infectious Disease Society found that ear infections account for nearly 25% of all antibiotic prescriptions in children, despite the fact that most ear infections are viral and won't respond to antibiotics at all. We're giving our kids medication that doesn't address the root cause, that disrupts their gut microbiome. It weakens their natural immunity, creates antibiotic resistance, and often doesn't even work for the type of infection that they have. That's why when the antibiotics inevitably fail again, the next step is tubes, surgical intervention, anesthesia, risk, recovery for a problem that in most cases is caused by a nervous system dysfunction, tight muscles that aren't draining, but could all be addressed naturally, safely, and effectively. So here's what we do differently at Haven Family Chiropractic. First, we assess not just the ears, the entire nervous system using the Insight scanning technology, because then we can measure heart rate variability, which shows us how well your child's nervous system adapts to stress. We look at the thermal scans, which shows us patterns of stress and inflammation are concentrated or most stuck onto the body. And depending on the age of the kiddo, we may use a third test that actually looks at muscle tension patterns, revealing the areas of dysfunction and compensation. But these tests give us objective data. They show us exactly where stress and subluxation is present and how it's affecting your child's ability to heal and to function. Secondly, we adjust using gentle, neurologically focused chiropractic techniques that are safe for infants and for children. We remove the stress, we remove subluxation, and we restore proper alignment, mobility, and nervous system communication. Lastly, we support. We guide families on reducing toxic load, supporting immune function naturally, and creating an environment where their child's nervous system can thrive. And the results, they speak for themselves. We see kids who have 5, 6, 7, 8 ear infections a year drop to 0. We see families who are scheduled for tube surgery avoid it altogether. We see children get off of the antibiotic cycle and build strong natural immunity. Because we're not treating the ear infection. We're restoring the nervous system that controls drainage, immunity, and healing. So if your child's stuck in the ear infection cycle, and if you're tired of antibiotics that don't work, and recommendations for surgery that feel it wrong in your gut, and if you want to actually understand why this keeps happening and what you can do to stop it, here's your next steps. Visit the link in the description below and schedule a comprehensive neurological evaluation at Haven Family Chiropractic. We'll run the scans. We'll show you exactly what's happening in your child's nervous system, and then we'll create a personalized care plan designed to address the root cause and not just put another Band-Aid on the symptom. Your child doesn't have to live with chronic ear infections. They don't have to be on constant antibiotics, and you don't have to keep losing sleep, wonder when the next infection is going to hit. Let's get to the root cause. Let's restore their nervous system, and let's break this cycle for good. I'm Dr. John Caruso with Haven Family Chiropractic here in Katy, Texas, and I cannot wait to help your family heal.